Welcome to 180 U-Turn, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who have been on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road event that completely changed their lives around. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today I'm broadcasting live from Alongside Ministries in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the premier transitional facilities for former felons for drug and alcohol abuse. And for more information on their prison outreach, their weekly meetings, and special events, just hop out to their website and check out all their information at asmaz.com. That's asmaz.com. And if you want to write me at the show, love the exhortations, love the verses you guys give me, remember it's Steve at 180uturn.com. That's Steve at 180YOUTURN.com. Well, we're in day 2 with Darren Cooney. We're talking about his show. Welcome to the show again, Darren.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Well, I'm happy to have you, and now I'm so sorry to say that was our soft Monday. This is going to be a bad Tuesday. You know, I mean, we get ourselves into stuff that we should never have gotten into, and we're two Catholic boys. We should have never been into the stuff we were into. No doubt about it. Well, I'm always amazed why people try it. I mean, I guess weed isn't enough. I guess alcohol isn't enough. And all of a sudden you get introduced to something like Coke, especially back in the day. Mm-hmm. Not today so much, but back in the day, that was a premier drug. That was a gateway drug. Some guys bounced off of that into opioid abuse or bounced off of that right into heroin and meth. Talk a little bit about how do you get introduced to this? I know it was through friends and so forth, but what started happening?
Well, it's definitely life changing. So they call the weed the gateway drug. Well, it wasn't enough, and I was in the hotel restaurant industry, and between my brothers and the people I hung out with some of his friends, I was introduced to cocaine on one of my jobs, and I loved it. And I'm an upbeat guy, and weed was always kind of a downer. And this was life changing, and I did a couple of lines, and then I just wanted more from go, but yet I was reserved enough to not let them know that I liked it that much, because I didn't want to get a label of some kind of nutbag weirdo addict, and I brought it and I introduced it to some of my as you use the word misfits and clowns. I brought it to them, and next thing you know, we're putting our monies together on the weekends, and we're going on an 8-ball, not knowing I have another 8-ball in my pocket because I know that one's not going to be enough, and I don't want to be the one to run out. And that started at a young age. I'm 18, 19, 20 years old, and the party went from Friday to Thursday instead of from Friday to Sunday night. And now it was the days turned into nights, and my thought process was, how do I get more? What do I need to do to get more?
But Darren, your personality, you are an all-in guy. I mean, so if you're going to do this, it's not going to be a passive recreational, shot at Coke. You got into, I don't know, were you actually a dealer? Were you starting to deal? I did. What's the word? Supplement my habit. But my habit grew. And, say don't get high from your own supply. It's the old from Scarface movie. Right. Well, I was getting high from my supply and yours as well. And snorting lines wasn't enough. I was turned into, I smoked it for the first time. And talking about, it was called the freebasing back in the day. And I didn't leave whoever's house I was in for 3 days. And confused and high and just wanted more. And I worked a lot at this point. I am 22, and I bought a restaurant. And with my mom. How do you buy a restaurant at 22? Tell about the offer. I think this is an interesting.
So I'm working at a catering / breakfast lunch place in the Scottsdale Airport, and Scottsdale Airport at this point is just like another haven. If you didn't work there, you didn't go there. So it was a breakfast and lunch type place, and I worked for a lady who I called Mom, and I knew her from the church. Wonderful woman. And she was getting up in age, but her parents were also still alive, and they didn't have hospice back then, and so she was going to be a caregiver, and she needed to get out of the restaurant. She needed to get out like tomorrow. So she says, for $10,000 you can have everything.
Wow.
And so I went to my mom. We put some money together. We made a plan, and my mom and I, she worked the front. I was the cook. the caterer, the shopper.
Okay, what culinary skill sets did you have back in the day?
Well, good question. I did go to Scottsdale Community College.
Okay, so you did some little bit about
it. They didn't have a culinary school back then. It's now Scottsdale Culinary Institute, which branched off from SEC. But I was taking culinary classes, the ones that I thought would help me, and pick and choose what I want to do. I'd never got my degree from there, but I got a lot of knowledge, and I took that knowledge into my little breakfast and lunch place.
And it worked.
It worked. The problem was I was stealing from myself and blaming other people, which is part of the addiction.
And you got married at this time too.
I did, and then one of my best friends, his older sister, met her at a toga party. That's a whole nother episode. And I met her at a toga party, and we started dating. We were dating probably for 5 months before I even told my friend, because he's very protective. And he finally came up to me and says, you need to take my sister out. I'm like, okay. But meanwhile, I'm living another lifestyle
that she has no idea. Yeah, no idea.
Nor did he. That person was kind of a do-gooder. It was one of my do-gooder friends. And so I had a real knack for, which I thought I was really smart, but at hindsight, I was not fooling anybody. But at this point, she had no idea what addiction problem I really had to cocaine and dealing, and the power of walking into a room and being the guy holding the dope, waiting for me to arrive. That was a high in itself, as being the guy they're all waiting for to talk to.
But by '96 now, the coke took over, and you lost the restaurant. You lost your wife. I'm
smoking.
Lost the mom. Your mom was like, I'm out.
Mom, this is horrible. I fired my mother for catching me doing drugs, and I had nothing else, and I was technically the sole owner at this time. I fired my mom.
You couldn't fire yourself, but you fired your mom.
God.
I know.
And my mom was out. My wife was catching on. I'm stealing. I'm lying. I'm manipulating. I'm doing everything that a scumbag does. And
you tried to go to rehab to somewhat save your marriage.
I did. It was too little, too late. And I was trying to save myself, and that didn't take.
Why do you think rehab didn't work for you back then?
My mom died while I was in there.
So that was a major detour for you.
Yep. I was trying to put it together. I had maybe 3-4 months, and then my mom died actually to this date. Today, 1996, and it fell right on Mother's Day. And that was I held it together for maybe a month, and then I just went on a horrible 3-year spiral.
Binge.
Major.
24/7,
24/7. Nobody was safe, and most of the people I hurt were either related to me or very close in that circle.
Now, actually, one of your sisters, she let you move in.
Oh,
shocker.
You're going to make me cry. So my sister, Bridget, we have a very difficult relationship, and it's 100% my fault. So
back then or still?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
You're getting ahead of that one.
Okay,
so my sister had 2 boys, and I loved them like brothers and friends, and I stole from them as well. And, as a protective mother comes before a protective sister. And I was just friends and family, man. People are close. When you're a crackhead, no one's safe. And I did irreplaceable, fixable damage to her emotionally, mentally, to her and her kids. And so, that being said, from 1999 to up to now, up to 2017, we had maybe 5 words. And I was, because of what happened, and I'll talk about that more later. But
I'm just going to stop here for a second. There's people that are watching this. I get traffic all the time. Nobody can understand. Okay, you screwed over your secular boss. So you stole from your homies, but you're actually taking money from your sister, your money from your nephew,
my wife,
your wife. Your mom's not even safe.
No.
This shows the power of the dope. We're talking about cocaine here. And by the way, I don't want to sidetrack too much here, but think about it. The word for sorcery in the New Testament is the Greek word pharmacia. Pharmakos. Pharmacia, pharmakos. It's our word for that we use for drugs. When you open this, it deadens every piece of your conscience. And there's no feeling, even for blood. There's no need for your blood family. And everybody's a target for theft. And this is why it's just not, you're not just sitting on an island doing your own thing. It affects everybody. So this is the thing that people sometimes are shocked by. And if you're just already dabbling in this, I promise you, everybody that's been on this show goes to the same place. They become thieves, even in their own household.
And to add to that, I think I'm smart and I think I'm slick. And when my mom was on her deathbed, I got to spend 10 to 15 minutes before the cancer took over her body. And in those 10 or 15 minutes, I said, Mom, I was selling crack out of the back window. Mom, I stole $30,000 from you. Mom,
Wow.
I did this. And you know what she said to me every time?
No.
I know.
She knew it. Yeah, there's. I say to you that moms have extra sensory perception. Women have that innate feeling. They know what's going on, right? Which is one of the reasons why dope for women is terrible, because it suppresses your natural ability to street read people and men especially. And I'm sorry that you did it, and I'm sorry but I like a bit of regret even now today. Because I might want to say this, the Lord does give us remorse for these things.
I got a truckload of it.
Oh, yeah. And I want to tell everybody, one of the greatest things is, people always ask me, hey, what'd you miss from Catholicism, Steve? Only confession. I used to go in that box and unload like you cannot believe. I'd walk out of there feeling free, even though I went right back to the same sin again.
Amen. Yes.
But I'd walk in that box, and that guy said I could dump on him, and I did. Yes, I got pinned down for an hour and a half one Saturday because I had a truckload of stuff, and that guy gave me a couple novenas, and I was doing the Stages of the Cross. I mean, there was some serious repercussions. Yeah. So, but tell me, once you get past this kind of thing, where your mom knows, everybody knows now, right?
Indeed.
There's no place to hide.
When you thought I was so slick and I had no clue, I know, honey.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're into this whole scene yourself right now, if you're watching this, you say, hey, I'm telling you, people know what's going on.
Yeah.
And maybe they should have a big challenge. They should challenge you, and maybe they should have what do they call those rescues? They walk in and to your house and they hunt you.
Yeah. That'd be a family rescue.
Yeah. So you're burning bridges in your family, right? I mean, torch.
With the torch. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you're torching a place. So in my explanation to you, Darren, before we close up this episode, we're not even at the point where this is going to go so bad that we're talking torching other people's relationships, but now we're going to finally have a crash and burn for yourself.
Yes.
So you don't see this coming, right? I always ask guys, did you see prison coming? I'm asking you. You know the activity you were into.
I did.
Did you see it coming?
I did.
Do you think you were on the road to destruction?
Yes.
Did you ever have an exit ramp off and you didn't take it?
Oh, absolutely.
And you're conscious of that.
If I were to write a book, I always thought my book would be The Path of Most Resistance, because I had ways out and I pushed that back. I had Jesus' influence and I pushed away from him. And
wow. So let me rephrase. You even had an exit ramp off that God supplied you.
Indeed.
And you didn't.
Especially looking now. Absolutely.
Retrospectively, yeah. Yeah, and by the way, just a little side note, in prison, 90% of most of the men I meet didn't see any of this coming. I mean, we're so, as a gender, we're blind as a bat. It's unbelievable. But what's shocking is women see it. And they still stay on the path. And they're all in, no matter what the destruction looks
all
like.
In.
Yeah. I just watched, by the way, as we close out this, I just watched again for the millionth time, Thelma and Louise. Right, the great story that the two girls, and they don't want to be taken to prison. So I went to California prison, and they were the next meeting up. Church happens right after the film, and all the girls are cheering as Thelma and Louise gun the car over the abyss cliff. And of course, they died.
Yes,
they died.
Not a happy ending.
So they're cheering the whole place. There's 300-400 women cheering Thelma and Louise on in the film, and I'm the next guy up. Right. So they introduced me. Hey, Steve's here. Da 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 da. And they gave a rap on my bio. And here's what their close was. I said, I just want to say before we go too far into this, I just saw the end of the film for the third time. I said, you guys realize they died, right? You're cheering. Yeah, they're dead, right? There's nothing to cheer about here, right? And this is where I get into this thing where once you see a couple of your friends go down on dope and die. and you go to a Catholic funeral on top of it, right? I mean, it's brutal. Am I not right?
Oh my gosh, you're hitting home.
I mean, it is just brutal, and there's nothing. As I said, it's bad enough that your friends are dying, but now they're Catholic friends of yours, and you're going to funeral services, knowing that this guy did not live a life and didn't probably have a chance to have the last rites. I mean, whoa. Right, that is a major whoa. Well, listen, we're going to continue our story with Darren tomorrow. 3. We're going to be talking about his time in prison, what got him there, and I'm so sorry that it's a troubling thought that he went through and the things he went. But that's what our show's about. It takes so much for us to bring us to our knees. I mean, I'm just astounded by the stuff we have to go through. It's a meat grinder experience, and we're still okay with it, right? Unbelievable. Well, listen, for more information on Alongside Ministries, which is where Darren came through, and we'll be talking about that Thursday and Friday, just hop out to their website at asmaz.com, and while you're out there, check out the possibility. Maybe you want to be a participant. You want to volunteer and be part of the mentoring program, or you want to see their weekly meetings and catch and get a flavor of what they're into and some of their special events. Just again, hop out there to asmaz.com. So until next time, I'm Steve Savant, and remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.